interviewing bike culture rock stars from all over the world. We've been really excited to kick off this series as a way to get to know all the people in the global bike community who are making amazing things happen in the areas where they live. And today we're so excited to be talking with Vikki Armstrong from Bike Walk Tompkins in Ithaca, New York. They are the hosts of a Film by Bike event there. In fact, the longest standing hosts of a Film by Bike event. It was really when they began showing Film by Bike that we decided to launch our entire tour program based on how they were using the movies and how it was working for them there in Ithaca. Now, they've got great stuff happening year-round at Bike Walk Tompkins, so we thought this would be a great time to sit down and check in with them to see what's happening in Ithaca and what the bike scene is like there. So, Vikki, thanks so much for joining me this morning. It's great to have you on the show.
Oh, Aileen, I can't tell you how much I'm enjoying that you asked me. And if people don't know, in January, Aileen came to Ithaca to talk bike culture with everybody here. And so now that we know each other in person, it's even more special to be here with you. So thanks a lot. I look forward to the conversation.
Yeah, definitely. Well, you guys certainly have an exciting, burgeoning, enthusiastic bike culture there in Ithaca. So just tell us a little bit about the scene in Ithaca. What do you guys have going on these days, and what has people excited about cycling there in Ithaca?
Oh gosh, do we have over an hour to do this? Okay, we've got so much. We've got so much going on. I want to say that we're building on stuff. We've had a lot of bike culture here for a long time, although right now it's just exploding in really positive ways. So maybe we have a Recycle Ithaca bicycles where, you learn to go over and tune up bikes, and they get bikes into the community. So I want to give a shout out to them. They've been here since the early 70s. Wow. And they've, been in different places, but over at Ribs, somebody built, or Nicholas, who runs Ribs, built a 24/7 outdoor bike tune-up stand. So instead of people coming into the shop during shop hours, any time of day or night, they can go over there and use the tools that are all hooked up to this big wooden framed bike stand. It's really great.
Yeah,
so
that's amazing.
That's one amazing thing. And we've got the Finger Lakes Cycling Club and Cycle CNY, which are people who out there recreational cycling. And both of those have been around for a long time. So I just want to give a shout out to the fact that we're not starting from scratch, But in the last 5 years, Bike Walk Tompkins has been going. And prior to that, in 2012, we started Streets Alive. So we wanted to make it really positive here. And we thought, why don't we just it's such a culture change, to say all that stuff, all that pavement could be for fun. And so we temporarily close 1.5 miles of streets and connect neighbors. And we've been doing that for, my God, I think we're on to our 16th or 17th. Coming up, we do it twice a year. So that's really grown, and that's really helped a lot of people see that the transformation you can make if you make things better for biking and walking. And we didn't know who the audience was at first, and we didn't know if anybody'd show up. And even from the beginning, people really did show up. Little kids on bikes, I would say, are the most thrilled by the project. And we didn't know, until we started doing it, that it's families. All of a sudden they have this safe space, and kids roller skating and biking makes me so happy. And I didn't know that either. So Streets Alive has been amazing. Just so much cool stuff going on there. And then new things, like there's artists that make lighted bike sculptures. They've been doing this for 3 years, and they get them all ready. Like they spend months making them, and then ride through Halloween. We have a couple streets that are filled with kids for Halloween, and these are all adult artists. It's pretty rogue, there's no permits involved, and they ride through with these spectacular lighted bike sculptures. So that's another piece of the bike culture that's happening here, and it's inspiring others. Yeah, so
that sounds
that's
so
just
cool.
A few. That's just a few.
So when did those creatures come out to play? Is it just at specialty events, or do you find them just randomly roaming the city?
They are random. They don't get permits. I will confess that it's my husband who really spearheaded it. And so he's been building sculptures in our backyard. Actually, it's been 4 years, and he started with a flying dragon. Wow. Up on top of this big bike. Now we have a tandem recumbent that was donated to Bike Walk Tompkins. And so it's really long. And then one year he asked our son, what should I make for this thing? and he ended up making a big rocket ship with the wings from the Dragon the year before, and he called it Star Space Wars, and it was like this big shuttle. It was huge, huge. Um, and we've had like our an artist, Nita Widger. The first thing she did was just make a lotus, a lighted lotus on her helmet. It was so beautiful, and she's made something every year. And last year she made a caterpillar with Dave, and they put in sequence two bike trailers, like a Burley bike trailer, only handmade ones. So two long ones of that, and then they built this. I think it must have been 20 feet long. This bike, this lighted caterpillar. It was like the scary caterpillar instead of the hungry caterpillar. Really cool, and it's all translucent. Actually, I can put in a plug that there's a film about it on our website, a 3-minute film that we showed at our film festival, and we're going to show that and talk to the artists on April 16th. So because you're doing radio shows, we're like, hey, we can do that too.
Yeah. Tell us about this event you have on the 16th. Sounds pretty exciting. Tell us a little bit more about what you have planned for that.
Okay, so one of our steering committee members, Margaret Johnson, said, we were saying, what can Bike Walk Tompkins do now that we can't do Streets Alive, in public gatherings? And she's like, well, how about some happy hours, just so we can all get together? So we decided to have a happy hour where we show one of our films, because we've got 5 local ones this year and a few from the years past. And then we interview the filmmakers for a little bit of content, and everybody can bring their own drink, alcoholic or not, and have a happy hour together by Zoom. So it'll be 5 o'clock on Thursday, April 16th. We'll show the film. We'll do a little Q&A with Nina Widger and Dave Davies, the artists. And then we'll open it up for questions and conversations, and just keeping our bike community together. Even when we can't get together physically, we can still be social. So that's the plan. Oh, okay. Well, do you want winter or summer? Okay. Well, certainly let's talk about the spring summer, because we launched the spring summer, build up for biking in April, even though it's a 4-season transportation for some of us. For most people, they're still thinking they'll bring their bikes out. So we do our first Streets Alive at the end of April, and that's a really nice time to remind people, come on out, and we offer bike mechanics there too. So show up and you don't have any air in your tires, we can fix that. And so that's a really nice way to launch the season. And then let's see, one of the other things we do is we hire bike champions. So we got a grant from People for Bikes 2 years ago to really try to get into communities that wouldn't otherwise be connected and wouldn't otherwise be participating. So we hire people from different communities in town, and then it's up to them. We have a budget, and they can organize events and rides within their own community. Usually it's the lower income housing areas. We've had it with some mental health, networks and communities. We had one person who was the most incredible champion, Barbara Kane Lewis, who did it with seniors. So seniors at GIAC, seniors at a couple of other housing places. We would go and do special events, learn to rides, and just that was so well attended. I can't tell you how transformative that was. I got to do a lot of the teaching and the supporting people getting back on bikes after years away.
Wow.
We even bought recumbent tricycles, because that's what our bike champion rode. So she can't ride a regular bike, but in a recumbent, like you're sitting on a couch, but you're riding a bike, and hers is a tricycle, super stable, and also it corners well, like it's not like if you've ever ridden a trike, the big bike trikes, they stand up, they're sometimes hard if there's ever an angle on your road, but these recumbent trikes are amazing. And I don't know, it's so heartfelt for me to think about that program, because so many people felt enlivened again by those experiences. So that's the bike champions, right? So we get out and we're doing events we never would have dreamed up if we hadn't hired these really creative people. So Streets Alive, Bike Champions, we do a lot of planning and advocacy and get the facilities and the infrastructure better. Call up our state Department of Transportation and say, you know what, that intersection sucks and people are really, really, having a hard time crossing it. So what better? So that's a piece of the work.
And I know you guys are also a host of an annual film night that has become quite a signature event for you. Tell us a little bit more about what the evolution of your event was and how it's grown to be what it is today.
Oh, well, I would love to tell you about that. So that's moving us into the winter. And in March, we do it, February, March. So we sort of ease in. So we started it was actually at a conference in 2011. And Tom Knipe, who some of your Portland viewers might remember, he worked for your community cycling center. Is that what it's called? Yeah. So he was a big part of that. And he moved to do his master's, I guess, here at Cornell University in Ithaca, New York, and then stayed. So we were really lucky because he's really added so much to our bike community, as has his whole family. So he said, well, this friend of mine, Aileen Crotty, is that how I say your last name? Crotty? Crotty. Oh, yeah, Crotty. So Aileen Crotty does this amazing film by bike festival. So we got DVDs from you, and we sat around in the living room, four of us, and we picked out what we liked. And we added street films. Clarence Eckerson in New York City does these amazing street films. So I don't even think I was part of that one. It was 2011, and a couple of people put together this screening at a conference, and it was about a 45-minute screening of great films. People loved it. And then in 2013 or 2013, we did it again. It was still by DVD. We have a really incredible independent theater in town with Brett Bossard, who's the executive director, and he's a dream to work with. He's just so easy to work with, and he made all that work. Hey Brett, can we show DVDs and YouTubes? And he was really good about it. So we've been programming it ever since, and it builds. More and more people come. It's the way we've built our e-news, because people sign up for e-news and raffles, and we've started now finding bike films online and locally, and we're also the ones that call up Aileen and say, hey Aileen, do you have a program that's has a lot of urban biking in it? And you guys developed Bike Love, so now it's so easy for us. We do our own screening of a bunch of films at the beginning. We have a hallway where we encourage conversation about what's happening in the bike world, and then we come in for our second half. We put our feet up. I've never even seen the films, and it's an hour of your Bike Love program, and it's just fabulous. It's so inspiring, and people come together. And I would say it's a big part of the reason there's success in the other things we do is because we've been doing that one now we did our 7th this year.
Your 7th. It's so cool.
Yeah. So thank you guys. Thank you, Portland.
Yeah. Well, it's been so exciting for us because we originally never considered sending our movies on the road until Tom Knipe moved and sort of took them with him, if you will. But it's been great because at the same time you guys were getting started, about a year later, we had a group in Anchorage, Alaska, show the films, and they had different requests for the type of movies they wanted to show. They said, don't give us any of those movies with bike messengers tapping taxis and rushing through the streets. And I thought, okay, I get it. There's a need for different types of audiences. Yeah. But between mostly you guys and then a little bit from those Alaskan folks, it really helped us learn what type of movies are going to work well in our tour program. And that has really allowed us to hone it in over the years into these two programs of Bike Love and Adventure Shorts. So for the folks that are listening in, we do send our movies on the road all throughout the year, all throughout the world. And we make it really easy for you to just press play and get a movie event going. So we were slated to be in about 60 cities this year. Obviously, with the COVID-19 pandemic, that has curtailed people's ability to gather and go to movies. But we are tracking nicely to keep that energy up. And we would love to be in additional cities. But Ithaca will always hold a special place in our heart because you guys are really the city that helped us get this all started. So that's very exciting for us. And it makes it extra exciting to be here here talking with you today. And so I'm also curious to know from you, we're talking with Vikki Armstrong from Bike Walk Tompkins in Ithaca, New York, the heart of the bike culture there in so many ways. And I'm curious to hear from you where you guys are headed next. What kinds of vision do you have for the upcoming years in Ithaca? And what have you seen kind of growing and changing within your bike culture?
Well, that is such a great question. And I am going to tag on the last one and say, I will make the promise here. Like Banff Film Festival is also something that we don't show, but is shown here. And so we are next year gonna, or maybe in the fall, we're gonna show both programs from Portland, because Alaska, we love what you do too. So we can show the adventure ones in like November, December when we're all kind of miserable and gray, and then we'll show the bike love in March. So we've done a bike film series now because of the connection we've made with Cinemapolis. So once a month we screened feature-length films, and that also brought our community together. So I just want to say that's part of our future. That was new this year, and we're going to continue that. It was really successful. And you can see that stuff on our website too, the things we've shown. We recommend, look for them. So what's coming up? Well, we're working on, we were funded by NYSERDA to make a plan. Like, let's make a plan, can really make Ithaca bike friendly. And it's called the Blueprint for Better Biking, but we've renamed it Biking for Everyone, an action plan for Ithaca and Tompkins County. And that's going to be rolled out soon. And that will really, it'll coalesce and bring together a lot of the ideas and a lot of the network that's out there and help us advocate even more clearly in Ithaca for the things that'll get better. And some of it's obviously infrastructure, but then we're also going to do more in the schools. We helped push for bicycle education in the schools. So the physical education classes, the second graders, are now, there's 8 elementary schools, and we've got it in 3 this year, where it's actually in their physical education program. They have bicycles. It's really, that's culture change, right? That's culture change starting there, because you'd be amazed, like almost 50% of the kids in the first school didn't bike. Their families, if your family doesn't make a commitment anymore,
right,
it's not as normal as it was when we grew up, I don't think. So we're going to keep pushing for that. There's Learn to Rides. We're developing, we have a fleet developing with Bike Walk Tompkins. So now we have a fleet of 7 bikes, and those are available to people to come to a Learn to Ride session, about a 2-hour session.
That's great.
Actually, middle-aged women who never learned to bike, or it's been so long. Mm-hmm. And we've been that free for 2 years, and we've got a grant again to do that and to get more equipment. So I'm really proud of us for developing that program, because that makes a difference. And sometimes it's one person at a time, this culture change, you know, and people really need the skills to bust the barriers to biking. And one of them is just being able to. We have more and more multi-use trails. So that's also a place that people can feel safe getting their skills better. So we're kind of developing all the skills programs, and I teach a traffic skills course. So once you're feeling really confident on your bike, but you still have to encounter what it means to use your bike on the roads, we're providing those classes as well. So there's just so much.
Yeah, it sounds like the future looks bright for Ithaca, and that you guys are so active. You've got so many programs going on, and it's working. You know, you're seeing the change, and that must be so exciting to be one of the people that is at the core of affecting that change in Ithaca.
Yeah, I feel so fortunate to get to do this kind of work. And Bike Walk Tompkins, when I started, was like me part-time with a really good steering committee. And now we have 4 staff members, the support of a bigger organization. We're part of CarShare, and we hire bike champions in the summer. And I think one of the things we have to do is make sure we don't burn ourselves out, you know, like starting to choose judiciously which programs really make the biggest effect and back burner a few is honestly one of the things we're doing, because we're just so full of good ideas, you know. And and hold on, and you came, right?
I came, yes. I got to meet everyone and get to ride a bike.
And 2 things really happened cool with you being here. Well, 3. So 1, you talked to all the event organizers in town.
That was great.
And that was incredible. And now they're like, oh, yeah, let's encourage people to bike in real ways to our events. What do cyclists need to get there? And one of them was bike parking. So we already got a commitment from our tourism planner. And they loan out equipment. And now they're going to buy bike racks, temporary bike racks,
Wow.
and loan them out. So that's all happening.
That's
And that's
amazing.
happened for every event, And then you were here in the evening and you had this really great focused discussion with community members about bike culture and what do you guys want to do? And things that came out of that, you were so good because you said, okay, people make a commitment, like do
Yeah.
something.
Yes.
So we've had this group start going to coffee at the falls at 7 a.m. on Mondays. And they
Yes.
base of Cascadilla Falls, and they're really about making coffee. Like they all bring like their coffee equipment and make really special coffee and drink it together. So I have yet to get there. I've tried, but I haven't quite made the 7 a.m. But as soon as COVID-19 is over and we can get together again, more of us will be coffeeing.
Yeah, that event has been so inspiring. I've been following it online.
Have you?
Coffee at the Falls. One of the organizers and I have connected, and he's just so thrilled that it's actually working. But I mean,
Yeah,
it's in the winter. I'm seeing these photos of him with
that's
really
right.
thick gloves on, and like the falls are all iced over. So to me, that is a huge sign of success because people are not only excited to get out there, but willing to do it early in the morning in the winter, in an Ithaca winter. So that's
Yeah.
been really cool to see. I'm so excited to see that event caught on. And because it is a global movement, Coffee Outside happens all over the world. But to put the Ithaca spin on it and make it at the falls, I just think is so cool.
Yeah, well, you guys have to come visit. Anybody out there, come visit. You can have coffee with us at 7 a.m. We can take you on incredible rides. It's
Now it looks like we've
to
got,
go through woods. So you can have some stuff and you can bike all over on the roads. We have the most, and if you want to work on hills, you
yeah.
can come here because we got some hills.
So, folks, today we've been talking to Vikki Armstrong from Bike Walk Tompkins in Ithaca, New York, and they are the heart of helping connect people up with bike culture and advocacy and making some amazing work happen. So, Vikki, it was so great to talk with you today. I really appreciate you coming in and joining me for some time on the air today.
Well, thank you, Aileen. It's been such a pleasure. And thank you for all you do because you've really inspired us. And that's how it works, I think. We just keep inspiring each other and making more and more cool things.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you. So, folks, we are here at Film by Bike. We are a film festival featuring the world's best bike movies. And we're here on YouTube talking to bike culture superstars from all over the world. Check out our YouTube channel to see all the different interviews that we've done with folks. And we have plenty more to come. Make sure you subscribe so you will always get an alert when we've got new interviews coming up. And if you are tuning in right now, don't forget that we have on April 4th, the Global Bike Festival. We hope you'll join us for that. That's going to be a groundbreaking event that the world has never quite seen a bike event quite like this. So get your tickets online at filmbybike.org. And to all of you out there who would like to see Film by Bike where you live and ride, just see our website at filmbybike.org. It's got all the details on how you can add your city as a tour stop to our schedule. Thanks so much, everyone, for tuning in, and we will see you next time.